Hello.
Hi guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Kadi. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, like, share at the end of the video. Today is Talk About It Thursday, and I'll have my girls again on the show, Nikita and Kristen, and we are going to talk about the impact of family and friends on personal relationships. So I hope you like the video. Remember to like and share. Most importantly, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Alright, so Nikita and Kristen are on the phone. If you don't remember who Nikita and Kristen are, watch the previous video on Black Women in America. You get to know a little bit about them on that video. So let's get started. So before we go into the topic, let's just do a quick little hot topic, or let's say check-in, right? Like we're going to tell each other about our week, how it's been going so far, and we'll do that every single segment. So I'm going to get started. So for me, this week has kind of been up and down in not just emotions, but, energy. For me this week, I started this makeover renovation project with my family, and it's just been its own little thing happening. So I've been driving back and forth, trying to help them out. At the same time, trying to make sure that they're doing some work when I'm not there. That's a little frustrating. But I'll keep you guys updated with that. That's what's been going on with me this week while I'm still working online with the students, working on distant learning. So that's what I've been doing. So Kristen, tell us a little bit about your week. How have you been doing? How's your week been going, Kristen?
Well, my week has been, it's been all right. Working with a limited time. Just focusing on, right now I'm transitioning. So I'm just kind of like relearning my hair again. And, just helping out with family. That's pretty much what I do. Because I know I've been, doing a lot of things with my mom with the doctors and everything like that. So that's been the gist of my whole week.
So you've been renovating as well.
Yeah, oh yeah, well yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Renovating as well, doctor's appointments, all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Nikita, how's your week been going?
My week, it's been good. This whole work from home situation with a kid, good as it's gonna get, I guess.
I know, right? I'm always thinking about what's gonna happen when school starts, because we don't even know what's gonna happen while working in the school system. So I could imagine you being a parent, just not knowing what to do. Even though it's summertime, still it's different because your summertime has been extended a little bit since COVID, so I truly understand.
We've been in summertime since March.
Yeah.
It has been very flexible with us.
Okay.
I'm just hoping that they stay flexible. I don't know about this whole go back to school situation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to keep him home.
Yeah, I think the safest bet is, until some type of solution is found, is for you to keep him home.
Yeah.
So that's the safest. So with our topic moving forward, so I'm going to ask some questions just like last time, and we're just going to move on from there. So we all know there are some cultures where the parents decide who the husband or the wife would be, right? When it comes to relationship, the parents decide all of that. How would you be okay if your mom and dad pick your boyfriend?
No.
No.
Why wouldn't you be okay with that?
Because how you gonna pick somebody I'm gonna be with? Like, you're not gonna be with them.
What if they pick someone and then you end up liking them? Is that, I mean, then again, I think there'll still be a pressure of, oh, I select this person for you, and so if it don't work out, it might be a strain between you and that parent if they pick someone for you. That's what I would think.
I mean, I know that, at least in my situation, my mom, I'll say that she's not gonna be picking who I date or anything like that, but she'll be like, well, what do you think about this person, or what, stuff like that, like kind of dissuading me from what she knows. But at the end of the day, like, what a person will present themselves to your parents and what they present themselves as to you in a relationship are two different people.
Right.
Most of the time.
Right. Because your parents will give you suggestions, but you have to be in the relationship and endure whatever it's happening. At the same time, you can't tell them everything that's happening in the relationship, especially if they favor that person,
Definitely can't tell them everything, because then it's going to be like adding fuel to the fire.
Okay. So, what do you think about, like, asking advice from your parents about relationships then?
I know that I do. If it's like a really, really pressing issue, but I try not to like make it too specific. Or sometimes I'll kind of like, if it's about me, I'll try to make it about somebody else, and like they need advice because if it's a situation where, like, I know I did that in my previous relationship, but I used to do that a lot, just so that she doesn't get a skewed perception of him, because I'm just like, there's gonna be things that I might not like, and we're gonna argue. We gotta find a middle ground, but that's not of their concern, because how we work things out versus how maybe your parents' relationship might work out is gonna be different. But I'm just more or less trying to pick her brain as to how she would adjust it so I could make my own decision. So.
Okay. Nikita, would you ask your parents for relationship advice?
No.
Why not?
Straight up, nah.
No, because it's like awkward. I don't know. Like, I asked them about parenting advice. But like relationship advice, I feel like, I don't know. Like, I don't think they are going to understand.
Okay. Why do you think they won't understand? Just give me a little bit more.
I don't know. I feel like, I don't know how to explain. Like, their mentality is totally different from our mentality because we're younger.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, a generational difference. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, there's gonna be different. Like, you can still ask them in the sense of just like, okay, that's what you may have done, and kind of adjust it to how we perceive things or the social norms of our generation versus theirs. Dating in general is way different than when they were dating versus when we started dating. You know what I mean? It's completely different. Like, different expectations and stuff like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, I agree with the both of you, because I think certain things you can bring up with your family or your friends regarding your relationship. I also feel like they tend to not move on as fast as you would. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you're on the side where you do communicate and tell your family or friends everything about your relationship. I feel like once you and your partner have solved that, or let's say strive towards resolving the issue, your friends and family are still watching. Like, they're still trying, they still haven't forgotten. So I think that's the hard part for me when it comes to communicating with friends and family about relationship, because they sometimes are stuck in a protection mode. There are family members or friends that are hating on relationships.
Oh boy, yes.
I feel so it's hard to even ask for advice, or to mainly to ask for advice or to share good news or bad news, because I truly feel like certain people will smile in your face, but then when you turn your back, they're not really as happy for you because you're in a relationship. That could be friends as well. So they do whatever they can to kind of sabotage your relationship. Have you ever experienced that, where you feel like a friend or a family member never had anything good to say about your partner?
Well, I'll say that I've experienced where it's been like, okay, since I've been single for a long time. So when I was single and I started dating again, and the first few people I was dating, like there was one particular person where I guess I was so infatuated with them, and like my friends were very nice, but on the flip side, they were not. Like from the moment they met them, they were just like, I don't like them. I don't know why I like them, but I don't like them. Later we find out why we shouldn't like them, but they just, something in their spirit was just like, that he ain't it. I was just like, what? Like, I don't know. It kind of gets you like in the moment you're just kind of just like, why are you hating type of thing, or like, like what's wrong? Like what do you see that I don't? But it's kind of hard to see what others see because you're in it. You know?
Right. How about you, Nikita?
I don't feel like I've had any family or friends per se hate on a relationship. Like my whole situation with my parents, Emmanuel, is like it's different. Like from that, they wasn't feeling him because we do have a 7-year age gap. So their whole take on it was like, what the hell does this grown behind man want with my 18, 19-year-old daughter? You know? Because in their eyes, they were still seeing me as this little girl. I guess they feel like at 18 and 19, I wasn't grown or whatever. And here go me trying to be grown. Like, y'all don't know what y'all talked about.
Wow. I think being the friend of Nikita, I could speak on that. You guys can also speak on being my friend regarding relationship. I don't feel like I don't hate on Nikita and her relationship with Emmanuel because of my godson. And I feel like we didn't really get the opportunity to get to know each other as much due to the fact that Nikita was now in New York and I was in Connecticut. All of a sudden I get a phone call. They've been dating for a while, and then I get a phone call with the special news. So as her friend, I was more so like, who is this? Are you that, like, what's going on? But that all was covered by, hey, I am pregos, you're about to be a godmommy. And I was like, okay, she's really serious about this guy. For her to even, for her to go through this process and have a child by him, she was really serious. And then meeting him and seeing the way he is with my godson, I was like, okay. But at first, I was like, who are you? Why are you taking up all her time? Like, why, like, why is she moving in with you? That's my view of it. Like, I can't wait to meet you so I can tell you better not mess with her.
Private with him before Jay.
Yeah.
Right. And even now, I still feel like I'm very private with him outside of you.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know, like, I don't know why I don't feel the need to be, like, having him everywhere I am. Even though he is everywhere I am because we're home together.
Right.
But, like, I don't know. I just keep him.
Right. Like, you don't have him all over your social media because grandma is on social media. Grandma is on social media. Yeah, Keita's grandma is definitely, what do you call it, hip to electronics. But, but I understand, like, not having that piece that's just sacred to you and your family unit. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think on my end, like, I tend to watch the way my parents move with their relationship and learn from that. And certain things I ask their advice from. But I also think my parents tend to take in other people's, not just other people's kids, but like when I say, okay, my best friends, Nikita and Kristen, you guys end up being the only ones that are my friends. That's all they would how is your friend Nikita? How is your friend Kristen? Nobody else exists until I bring up their name. You know what I mean? And and that's it. Like, every single time when I talk about, oh, yeah, I'm going to New York. Oh, you're going to Nikita's house? That's it, right? All the time. So I feel like with advice, I would talk to them about certain things or bring up certain things with my parents. And for me personally, I wouldn't take all their advice because I'd rather live my life in a way. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And but I won't say I will forget what they had said though, because although they're older generation, some of the things that they say do hold water. Some of the things, so I won't just like forget it. At the same time, I won't just like jump and just do whatever they're saying. I'll kind of question it and then figure it out later. I mean, for a while for me, I was getting, I guess I could say hate a little bit. I felt like I didn't really have that much support overall. I feel like from my friends and family, yes, I had support, but from other aspects, there weren't that many support. It was more so, oh, you've been together for so long, this many years. That's all I would hear. You know what I mean? But while I hear that, I felt like certain people were expecting it to just fail. Like when they brought up the years, the amount of years you've been together, I felt like they were hoping for it to just not work out in a way. But I feel like my friends personally, you guys, because you guys are aware of my status and everything, and you guys we have a relationship where I'm not sugarcoating. I feel like if you seek advice from your family and friends, those of you that are in relationships out there, I feel like you should be honest and also say your piece, like what you did, not just what the other person did, because that does cloud it.
Yeah. That's very, very important. Just for the growth aspect of it. Because it's just like, you can't really give full advice if you're not saying the dirt that you did yourself.
Right. The worst part, though, because yes, we might have different experiences when it comes to our relationship and our family. I think there are people out there that are dealing with family members that do hate on their relationships, that do not support their relationship and would want to sabotage it. I do think that does exist, and that is happening.
Definitely.
And I think it becomes very toxic when that does occur, and that's when I feel like the parents or the friends are trying to gain control of whosoever, male or female. They're trying to gain control as to who you should be with and who you shouldn't be with. However, if you are in a relationship with someone who is abusive or toxic to you, I would suggest you talk to your friends and family members to actually gain some type of advice, or if you have the money, seek therapy. If you don't have friends or family members to talk to, I don't want to just say a blanket statement, because I know there are people out there that are in relationships that are not conducive, or you know what I mean, like it's very hard. So, but what I would say, mom and dad out there, let your kids that are in relationships work it out, whatever they have going on. And once they decide it's done, let them decide that it's done. I don't think you should decide for them.
No, I don't think they should decide for them. But I feel like they should just, because, like, I feel like sometimes the parents come off, like, overbearing because they want to protect their kid from, you know, the heartache that they feel that they deem is unnecessary. Mm-hmm. But also at the same time, you gotta let them breathe. You gotta let them make their mistakes, because if sometimes just telling them is not enough for them to get people to understand. So sometimes they have to just go through it. But once they go through it, now you can kind of relay the message, and it might be able to stick, versus you just telling them and they're just like, oh, but you don't know nothing. Right. So sometimes you just have to let somebody go through something in order for them to understand, you know, their point of the other person's point of view.
Yeah, and I think you should also, parents should trust their kids. You know, trust their kids. That especially once they're adults, that they're competent enough to make decisions for themselves, without belittling that relationship in a way. It could be a friend. It does not have to be boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever type of relationships out there. It could just be a friend. If you tell a kid that this friend is no good for them, you don't know their intimate relationship. You don't know what bond that they have for them to have stuck together for a long time. You know what I mean? Like, as long as you notice that your kid is not following in whatever bad ways you feel like this other person is, I think you should trust your kid that whatever decision they're making is best for them. Because what's best for the parent sometimes is not best for the kid. So I do want to ask you that, Nikita, since you're a mom, sooner than later, actually later than sooner, let's say that, we're going to have to interview some people regarding Jay. You know, like, I'm saying all of this, but I do have a godson, and I will one day have a son and a daughter. So I'm just preparing myself as well, just in case I do sense that. So how would you feel if Jay was to come to you, introduce you to a girl, and you just get this vibe that can be good or bad? How would you handle that?
I'm not even ready for this. Oh my God. Like, I think from now I'm going to be instilling it in him, like, don't bring nobody home just because y'all just started talking. Yeah. Like, make sure you are serious before you bring this girl home. Don't bring her to me after y'all been talking for a week or two. Bring her to me at like
yeah.
Bring her to me at like the 3-4 month mark or something, because I can't.
Yeah, when the both of them agree that it's serious, because you don't want to be talking. he's all serious about her, and then you are talking to her on the couch, and she's thinking they just chilling. That would go left, you know. But when they're both on the same page and want to meet each other's family, I think, yeah, that would be really good. But let's say you don't like the female because she rubbed you off the wrong way. That's the opposite. How would you deal with that?
If the girl rubs me off the wrong way,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to.
Or you perceive that she rubbed you off the wrong way.
Right. I'm just thinking about my reaction, and y'all know how I get.
Yeah.
When somebody rubs me the wrong way, so it's just gonna. I have to remember that that's somebody's child.
Right.
But honestly, like, I don't feel like I'm gonna be taking any little girlfriend that he bring home serious until he in his 20s or 30s.
Mm-hmm. He has matured a little bit.
Yeah, because, I mean, I don't know.
Well, so for a moment, let me just tell you a little story. Me and Keita thought Jay had a little girlfriend at school, okay? Because every time Keita would tell me, Jay will be missing a jacket, he's losing this, he's losing that, and he would always talk about this little girl. And I'm like, Keita, isn't that his? I think Jay might like this little girl. Oh, we're just joking, by the way. They're young kids. But I feel like as a person, he would know when he's serious because he takes his friends very serious. He would talk about them all the time. I think, what was her name? Something with an H, but yeah. So he would always.
That was back in the day.
Yeah.
That was Hawa.
Hawa, I think. Yeah.
But now he got other little girlfriend that he got a girlfriend. I'm like, boy, bye.
But just to give you a
little girl's name, and he's like, I don't remember her name. So that's how I know it's not serious.
Right. True. Yeah, so we are on the receiving end as females when we are in a relationship with a guy. So we're just trying to also learn as we go, especially when we, Keita's already a mother, but once we become mothers as well, just to understand how to treat the significant other that our kids bring to us, right? And to understand, I truly agree with Keita when she said, well, this is somebody's child, you know? And that's one thing with my family that I have noticed when I say that they take whosoever I introduce to them as, like, they try to care for them because they know that's somebody's child. You know what I mean? Like, so they would always want to know what's going on with that person and be concerned in that way. And the only negative to that is if things don't work out, why are you still asking me about Tom Jerry? Like, we're not together. You know what I mean? Like, you should kind of cut the ties. So I feel like sometimes family and friends don't cut the ties when you're no longer in a relationship with the person. How do you guys feel about that?
Yo, I still get questions. I'm like, yo, for real? Like, sometimes, granted, like, in that particular situation, like, it took me a long time to, like, introduce them to other family members just because it was just, like, you know the important people in my life that is around me constantly. And then when, like, extended family started meeting them, now, like, every single time you see them, they're just like, oh, you still with? No. We said this last year, you know? Like, come on. And then when you're single for a long time, they're just like, so when you gonna get a boyfriend again? What?
Right.
Like, what?
Weren't you just asking me about
like,
so-and-so?
And it's just like now, that I am, I'm just like, I'm not quick to tell everybody because I'm just like, everybody don't need to know.
Right.
When I'm ready, you'll know. Period. Like, what?
Right.
Mm-mm.
Well, you might be getting some DMs anytime soon because you talking about you single on this video.
No, I said, no. I said
When
now
she
that
was single.
I'm not. Yeah, they probably will. I don't know. Oh, God. Here we go. I don't know. They be alright.
True.
I have their questions.
Yeah.
We'll talk when I see you. That's just it.
That is true. But I truly feel like with relationships, we need to be transparent, not just with our partners, but also with our family members. And I agree that you should pick your lifetime partner, that nobody else should for you, because in our family, we didn't pick who our parents ended up dating. So I don't think they should control who we date, or control what we do, period. You know what I mean? There should be a respect between parents and kids where there's a line of communication. If you are comfortable to introduce your partner to your family member, I think you should. The more the merrier, especially if they really like this person. It'll be easier when it's holiday time. It will be easier.
Yes, it would.
If they like your significant other, it would they're laughing because they know. It will definitely be easier with that because the vibe in the room or the mood in the room will be different when everyone knows and understand each other. But the control piece is the reason why I wanted to talk about family and friends and their impact on your relationship. I truly feel like if they try to have control over you and don't trust that you can make the right decision for yourself, it will later on affect your relationship with that family or that friend, especially if you are certain about your decision. It will put a strain, and that's when, I don't know, girls, I feel like that's when the person needs to stand up for their relationship. Like, if the family members are not, let's say, moving with the wave, right? And they're just constantly being negative, I feel like then the partner needs to stand up and fight for that relationship.
Well, I totally agree. I totally agree with that. At the end of the day, I would just feel like, if my family ended up not liking the person I'm dating, I would be sad that that's the case, because I would like that if I'm planning to, be with somebody long term, I would like our families to get along, them to like the person I'm dating, and create a bond down the road. But if you don't, then, I just at minimum want both of them to respect each other, especially in the presence of myself. and it just that be that. I don't need my parents to like them per se for me to be with them. Because at the end of the day, I'm with them, not you.
Yeah.
Period.
So how would you feel, Nikita, if your parents flat out said, I don't like this person, and there's always that constant negativity? How would you deal with that?
I feel like, well, this is from experience. I feel like I dealt with it by just keeping separate. Like, that's how I dealt with it. So this way I don't have to worry about Emmanuel's feelings towards other people, feelings towards him, and then conflict. To keep it conflict free, I keep everybody separate. But it's kind of difficult now because we do have a child, and he asks questions. He's like, so how come daddy never goes here? Or how come daddy never comes with us here? So it's difficult.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it works for us.
Because you know the temperament of the person you're with, as well as like the temperament of your family members. So I understand why that, you know, works for you as well. And hopefully we could all get to the piece that Kristen is saying, where everyone is cordial. At least in the presence
I mean,
of
the two families are cordial. Like, they, you know, like you always see his sisters at my parents' house when I have events for Jay.
Yeah.
And it's always cordial. It's never, you know, rowdy or any of that. My parents, they ask for his sisters all the time. They're like, you know, how's Emmanuel's sisters? How are they doing? I haven't seen them. And so, you know, the family bond is there. And, like, he's growing on... Emmanuel has grown on my parents. Because, like, my parents, you can tell they genuinely care about him because they see, like, okay, he is there for his kid. He is there for my daughter. And this is who makes my daughter happy, you know?
So that's what I've heard from my parents currently saying, okay, whosoever you choose, as long as you are happy. You know?
Right.
As long as you are happy with this person, we will be fine. Regardless of, let's say, our culture or our emotions, who you pick is who we will support you regardless. You know, it's more now about my own well-being. You know what I mean? Instead of the family dynamics. Yes, my parents would love for everybody to be together. But if that does not happen, they've definitely reassured me that whosoever I decide, because we have to decide, at the end. It takes two people to make a relationship. But it would be great for me. Ideally, that's the type of relationship I would want to be in, where ideally I could have that event, you know, and you can put on your fake smile if you want. Just don't bother me. Don't make the person I'm with upset. I think that's my own personal issue, guys. Like, if the person I'm with is upset because a family member does something to them, it does affect me.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
For position. Because it's just like, it's like you have to choose sides between the person you're with and your family.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's just like your family has been there with you forever, from birth to, you know, now. But it's also like, okay, but I want to make my own family and I want to make my own way. So it's like dancing around everybody's feelings and emotions and trying to protect everyone's feelings and emotions. It's a lot. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work if you try to connect with their family too. Because I know I've had my struggles with that.
Yeah.
And I won't say it was always a terrible experience. It wasn't. It's just that, like, sometimes if you see that your partner might have like I don't want to say like a bad relationship, but like maybe like a shaky one, or maybe like they kind of working things out for themselves or whatever. But you know, it's cordial enough that, you know, they want to introduce you to your family, but then like they kind of looking you up and down, and their relationship ain't that great. It's hard to navigate that, because then you really can't tell if the person likes you, and you're trying to get them to, you know, get comfortable around you, and it's just sometimes it don't work out that way, the way you expect it to, you know, because you always want, just like as much as you want your family to be welcome, and you want their family to be welcome to you as well.
Right. and there's a line where you're like, okay, should I protect my partner against his or her family, especially if they are not treating that partner correctly? It's like, for me, I would have to say, hey, I can't make a comment. Like if your family member, sorry about that, the battery might die soon. But if your family member is treating the partner wrong, I think yes, you could definitely say something. But let's say his or her family member is treating them wrong, and they come to you as, a shoulder to lean on and things like that. It's very hard to not say something or to not fight for that person. But I've been working on that, where I'm just like, you know what? Deal with that and I'll deal with mine. You know what I mean? Like, until you and your partner, I think until you and your partner tie the knot and you start your family, or without tying the knot, let's say you do have a family, let them deal with their own baggage and you deal with your own. That's what I think. Like,
yeah, I feel like you should never get involved in your partner's disputes with their family, because at the end of the day, like, that's always going to be their family, and you're technically, like, not to say that you're optional, but like, that's their family. Right. So like, when Emmanuel has disputes with his family members, I try to stay as mute as possible. Right. Because it's like, yeah, we're together, but that's not my business.
Right. Yeah. I think sometimes it's hard though. It's like,
it's hard.
But like, what if you feel like your partner's family is being toxic to them? Like, what do you do? Because, like, that's your partner, and sometimes you can't say that you don't ever get protective of them. You know what I mean? Just like you would want them to protect you in those situations.
You do get protective, but, like, at the end of the day, that's their decision to make if they're going to still continue to be involved with that family member. Because let's say y'all two have a falling out, or something happens to that family member that they're mad at. You're going to be the blame if things don't go right. So it's like a sticky place to be in, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, it is a sticky place, because if the partner is here venting and let's say you agree with them or don't agree or whatever, it's hard for you not to share that opinion, and then they're looking at you a certain way. And then when you are in the presence of them being treated badly, I don't know, it's really hard. But for me, I'm trying my best to just communicate and boost up that partner so that they have the courage to speak for themselves. You know what I mean? Like, so that they can fight for themselves. Because at the end of the day, once they are able to stand up to that toxic or whatsoever family member, the relationship with that might get better or worse, but it's up to them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I don't want to take the blame for what happened within your family, or vice versa. Like, I wouldn't want you to take the person to take the blame for what happens in my family either. Like, let's deal with it. We can vent to each other, but when it comes to handling whosoever that person or that friend or that family is, we should do it on our own. Because if you are that child, when they say run, you run, then that's how your relationship is going to be all the time. But if you are that child that's able to communicate effectively with your parent and explain to them how you feel, let's say about your partner, even if your partner had done wrong or done right, like, tell them both pieces, not just tell them one part. So, I don't know. I guess I'll keep you guys updated as to this relationship and family and friends type of topic. But if you guys do have any comment as to how you deal with your relationship and the opinions and impact of your family on that relationship. Maybe you do just keep them in different corners. Maybe you try to just have them be cordial whenever you're around. Maybe they don't know about each other at all. You know, maybe you are keeping a secret life somewhere. Let us know down below, like, how do you deal with that? You know, or your family and your significant other have a great relationship where they've taken them in. Let us know. Maybe you have, you know, somebody down there or watching this video would definitely learn something from it. This is a constant issue. I feel like a lot of those that are in relationship have to think about, unless they're just ignoring it. But I do feel like there is an impact on your relationship from your friends and family, good or bad. It does not always have to be bad, but they do end up affecting us in some way. So remember to leave a comment down below. Make sure you share and like this video. And if you're new to the channel, remember to hit the subscribe button. And if you're already part of the family, I hope you enjoyed this video. And I definitely want to hear your feedback down below. And we will see you on the next Talk About It Thursday. Tell us, if you're in a relationship, how does your friends and family affect that relationship? That's the question right down below. Let's continue this conversation. And I'll see you guys next Thursday. Have a good one. Bye.